Okay, so hello everybody here in live audience and all of you guys out there. This is episode 4 of the BravoPB wheel. Thank you for all your comments and questions. I think you guys are liking this as much as I am. This has been a pretty fun experience so far. As you can see, we have an upgrade to the wheel. We have the logo for the BravoPB.com on there rather than me scribbling it in. So that is new for episode 4. And so once again, I have a bunch of ingredients on the wheel. We're gonna spin it 3 times, whatever it lands on. That's what I'm gonna use. I do have this one right here, audience choice. So if it lands on that, you guys sort of talk real quick amongst yourselves and then you choose something here. Sound good? So I let you guys pick if it lands on that. So, other than that, here we go. Spin that BravoPB wheel. But you guys are supposed to cheer. What we got? Cabbage, right? Wheel. What we got? Grapefruit. Spin that BravoPB wheel. Of course, audience choice. So the audience is now talking amongst themselves, figuring it out. Black rice. Okay, the audience chose black rice. And so here we go. We have cabbage, we have grapefruit, and we have black rice. And someone said it can't be a salad, so we'll make it happen. Quote unquote, the biggest challenge here is the fact that I have something that is very dark, okay? So the first challenge for me is to make sure that I'm gonna pick things that are gonna have nice contrast. So, you know, colorful things to go up against that dark rice. Since I can't make a salad, I'm gonna make a slaw. How about that? We'll make a slaw for the, so we'll have the patties, the slaw on top, and a nice sauce. Sound good? Okay. So the slaw here becomes a cabbage-y type slaw. All right, so far I've had the cabbage. I'm picking some red bell peppers, red onions, and carrots. And we can certainly do some green onions, so that'll be nice and colorful. I'm going to use the grapefruit as the sauce, and we'll make a grapefruit basil sauce. And then for the patties, we'll make, we gotta get some flavor into the rice. So I'm going to choose some mushrooms. We'll throw some asparagus on there. There we go. We'll just keep it clean. You know, mushrooms and asparagus. I don't want to end up, you know, grabbing 25, 30 ingredients to make one dish for you. I just chopped up a few mushrooms in there. And now I can add my shallots. Okay, I'm all in half. And now, the mushrooms and the garlic all go in here. So these would be dried sauteed mushrooms. What I'm trying to do is to evaporate as much water as possible from the mushrooms themselves. By doing that, I concentrate the flavor of the mushrooms themselves. And the same trick you can do for anything else. Whether it's mushrooms, or you got some leeks in there, or you got tomatoes, some other vegetable. As you saute and you see the steam escape, you concentrate the flavor by evaporating the natural water content in there. I didn't put the asparagus in the beginning because asparagus don't take as long to cook as the mushrooms do. I'm gonna go ahead and add the asparagus in there now. Okay. That's about all we need. This is what this looks like right here for everybody. Right there. Now, this right here, it can certainly be a nice side dish all on its own. All I would do is just finish it off with a little bit of herbs. Certainly some basil could go in there, thyme, green onions, okay? And that by itself would be a nice side dish. Mash this together. The trick is to take a little bit and then try to make a patty out of it. If the rice was too dry, what would happen is as I try to form these patties, they would just crumble, okay? At that point, you know that you definitely want to add a little bit of liquid to it, okay? So that it gets a little stickier on you so that you can form those patties. If you're trying to form it and then they just sort of smear in your hands and they're not holding shape, it's too wet. So that would mean that you would want to get a little bit of something dried up in there to sort of make it stick. I always suggest that you could do some brown rice flour. Brown rice flour is a great addition to something like this. There we go. I'm just going to put the patties there on the side of the cutting board. We said I had to use cabbage, so I'm just going to take a little bit of that. And then I'm going to slice it as thin as possible. Absolutely there. Take a little bit of green onions here. So we have it here, right? And then if we add that, then you see suddenly we're like, oh yeah. You know, that's going in the right direction now. We'll add a little bit of bell peppers as well, red bell pepper. Now, because my cabbage here and the carrot and the onions are all sliced thin and sort of long, okay? I want to give it a little bit of shape contrast with the bell pepper. So this one, instead of dicing thin and long, I'm gonna dice it. So it's small little cubes in there. Okay. What I'm going to do with it is stick a little bit of red wine vinegar on it. Okay. So this will be, you know, sort of the pickling agent, okay? Yeah. And I'm also going to throw in a little curveball. I'm going to add a touch, and by a touch I mean just a little bit of vanilla extract, okay? And that I'm simply doing just to throw off whoever's going to eat this. Okay, they're like, oh, you know, this is slop, but there's something in there. What is that? You know, and it just sort of entertains as we go along. So I'm going to just stir this up a little bit and allow everything to interact with the rice vinegar in order to, you know, get that pickle sort of effect. Now, we must get some grapefruit in here with some basil. And my issue here is that if I just blend this, it's going to be juice. It's just going to run all over the place, okay? So I need some thickener. I had this other tray of ingredients ready, and they're sitting on top of my stove back there, okay? And I forgot them, okay? And that's sometimes what happens. You think you have something and then suddenly you don't, okay? So I'm not going to go back there and grab it. The first thing I'm gonna do is just go ahead and squeeze these in here. And then what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take some of this mango. Okay. So I'm not so interested in the mango flavor as I am in the mango texture, again, just to give me some thickness. Okay, so that should give us what I need. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna take that juice and the mango and blend that and just see kind of what I come up with. And then flavor-wise, it's like grapefruit with a hint of sweet in there. You know, I don't taste the mango so much, which is nice. Give this another stir. I'm gonna give it a quick taste with a little bit of everything. We could use a little bit more vinegar. I can still taste the roughness of the cabbage. Say again? I haven't forgotten the basil, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm waiting till the last minute to add it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this down. Right, that was a flatter side. There we go. Okay. And so I'm just going to allow, hopefully allow that rice to sort of crisp up a little bit. And then of course I'm gonna flip them over to try to get them to warm up all the way through, okay? And in the meantime, I'm going to talk about the sauce. So the reason I did not put the basil in right away is because I know there's a certain level of acidity within that grapefruit juice, okay? And if I add the basil in there too soon, what will happen is it'll go from this beautiful bright green to it slowly just move towards a army green. Okay, so it's going to, the acidity is going to make it lose its color. That's why I'm going to add it at the very end, right before, you know, I'm ready to serve. Okay? So I'll show you what this looks like. I'm looking at the pieces of mushroom there. I don't know how well you can see it. You know, I'm sure the camera can. But the pieces of mushrooms are browning nicely on there. I'm gonna add the basil to the blender and just leave it there. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my patties over. Now that'll be our serving plate. I have two options here. I could leave this sauce with that chopped basil look, okay? Or I could go completely smooth. Could go almost completely smooth, but still see the little bits of basil chopped up in there, which is what I'm going to opt for. Very nice, very nice. So the sauce itself, again, the first thing that hits me is that grapefruit, you know, and my brain is automatically thinking, oh, this is gonna have that sour, you know, slightly bitter sort of thing, but then it's like sweet, and then I'm confused because, you know, I'm expecting the grapefruit to have that slight bitterness, but it just never gets there because of the mango. And then before I realize what's happening, all the basil flavors right there, so it's really nice. Okay, we're going to go ahead and plate patties down on the plate. Okay. So right away, I'm thinking, man, those are dark. You know, I hope there's going to be some color in there with it. Okay. And now I'm thinking, oh, okay. So that's interesting. It's got a nice, colorful sauce. You know, the green is bouncing off that off the black darkness of the patties. Now what I'm hoping for is some height to it. You know, it's kind of flat, so I would like to see it built up. And that's where the slaw comes in. Maybe just a touch more. Chefs like to get height on their dishes once they're served. Okay. So here we go. What do you think? Okay, so we got this black rice and mushroom patties with a grapefruit and basil sauce and a we'll call it vanilla slaw. So there we go. That is episode 4 of the BravoPB wheel. The question is, what are the key ingredients to have when making a veggie patty? I would say that a starch in there is quote unquote key to have for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's going to give you that substance. Okay. Number two, as we get into the economics of it, you know, a starch in the patties is going to make it much more financially, you know, it's going to make a lot more sense financially, okay, because starch will be cheaper than, you know, throwing a whole more veggies, okay. And also the starch gives you that stickiness, that gives you that ability to form into a patty. It gives you a starting point where you can go, okay, this is nice and sticky. Whatever else I add to it is going to stay together. And now I just need to figure out, is it just right? Is it too wet or is it too dry? I have made them with corn. You can certainly add beans to it. So a bean and rice sort of patty, or a bean and potato. Bean and plantains, we've done that before, black beans and plantain burgers. Those come out really good. After that, you just sort of figure out what is my starting sort of flavor. So for example, for the black bean and the plantain burgers, you're going to have a very sweet starting point. At that point, you're like, okay, this now calls for some chipotle or some barbecue spice or some sort of Cajun kind of thing, so that I can do now a sweet and spicy combination. Okay, one of the questions that came up through this lecture, I don't know how we got into it, but somebody asked about rice paper, and I thought this would be another sort of cool way to serve some of the same ingredients. So just to give you another idea, I took some rice paper here that you see. I'm dipping it in a little bit of water just to make it pliable, and I got it here on my board. I'm going to put some of that same slaw that I made for the patties. And now I'm just simply going to roll this up, wrap it, and then I'm going to use the same sauce that we made for dipping sauce. So the same grapefruit, slight touch of mango and basil in there. Okay. And now here we have some rolls, which you can do, or again the whole patty thing. So just another idea. Hope you guys enjoy that.